So, okay, we might just quickly kind of think about I suppose, Bridget, I think you have some thoughts here just around the failures in engagement. So, you know,
I feel a bit like the doomsayer in this webinar, because you and Kevin have
always
come
the
up with
bad
some
news. You're always bringing the bad news for us, Bridget.
I
But no,
am,
I mean,
aren't I?
there's
You're,
the consequence of disengagement. I think at best can be like poor productivity and no visibility. At worst, significant things happen. So, yeah, let's maybe talk about
I
some of
think
that.
we picked this one because it is yet another example where, had you read the rooms, had you picked up on the cues that were there, 7 people wouldn't have died, 62 people wouldn't have been seriously injured. In that there had been 4 years before the tram crash. I don't know if people remember, it was in 2016, this crash, and it was the tram was going too fast around a bend. It was still going at 80 miles an hour and it should have slowed down to 20. There had been previous reports of trams speeding at that point. There'd been concerns, even the drivers had admitted to their immediate supervisors that they had this thing called loss of situational awareness, where you would imagine, if you're on a long car journey that you've done several times, and you get to a roundabout and you think, oh, am I at the first roundabout or the second roundabout? And you forget for a moment where you are. And because of the nature of this route, the sort of human factors involved, people were making this mistake on several occasions. So there was plenty of evidence there that, had there been a better connection between between the drivers and between the people who were making the decisions, the whole accident could have been avoided. One of the things that when the rail accident investigation branch were investigating, they actually asked the train drivers, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well can you speak to your senior management, and the scores were around about 3.5, which is kind of frightening. On a scale of 1 to 10, you only feel like about sort of third confident that you can talk to people, and we have to improve that. And if you can't improve that directly, well, then one way is to sort of shorten the chain, and technology sometimes is the way to shorten that chain, to make sure that you get that information from the people who are experiencing the problems to the people who are the decision makers and have the budget to improve things. Unfortunately, the sort of recent reports that have been coming out about TfL and the in relationship to this was that actually even now they haven't necessarily learnt their lessons, and that there was a survey, an audit a few months after the crash into fatigue management in the tram operator, and the draft report and the final report were apparently quite different, in that some of the recommendations, shall we say, were toned down in the final report. So they perhaps haven't learnt their lessons on this one.
Yeah. Kevin, any thoughts there in terms of what you see from that failures in engagement, where people don't commit maybe in programs, or what happens?
Again, I think it's about the communication. Communication is key. Bridget mentioned it there. We work with a guy called Mike Appleby. He's the sort of defence lawyer in the UK, and many of the issues and areas he's covered come back to the same thing. It's about communication. Why do we have all these procedures in place stopping people actually getting information through, and how do we not take action on them? Why do we just put them in a drawer somewhere and say, yes, we've had 300 near misses, isn't that great? So it's back to communication, it's back to actioning, exactly as Bridget said.
Yeah, no, and look, I think from our side, we couldn't agree more. That's obviously where we try and come in and assist, and that's an area that we do focus on. So that kind of, how can technology help? When we talk to potential customers and we talk to existing customers, we never try and come in and say, look, we're the solution to your engagement problem and we're going to fix things for you, because that's not the case, and that wouldn't be true. I think where we see outstanding results is where we see the commitment from the safety teams and we see the commitment from the business to drive a more engaged workforce, and we try and provide some tools to assist with that and make those levels of communication more important, or more easily addressed. And that communication element is one of the biggest challenges, I think, in safety. Sort of two-way communication, looking at data coming into the safety team so you can analyze and understand, and those leading indicators driving in, at the earliest possible time, so that you can collate that information and look at emerging risk and deal with it before it causes harm, versus the lagging indicator insights of, okay, these are the things that happened, and if we assess that, what do you think is going to happen in the future? And really, that level of data, and when we think about it from our side in terms of data and kind of systems management. That level of data and information isn't possible unless you're engaging everybody in the workforce to try and be the eyes and ears out